right? So the blimp would have to be housed in a hangar, which is soundproof, right? Hear where I'm going with this? The hangar is connected to the house, not directly inside of the room with you, though.
How's it going to be soundproof?
Hang on, because it's a blimp.
You've got 30 million people living next door.
You can't hear them. They're
What
inside this
materials is hangar going to
house.
be made out of that makes it soundproof with 30 million people living next door?
Metal.
No, it's not soundproof.
Yeah, it is.
Metal is very reflective.
Postman turns up with 30 million people's mail to your front door. You share a front door because you're in the same building.
They deliver it to the hangar, which is next door.
No, it's the same building. It's not next door. It's in your building. You live in the same building. Your flatmates.
You'd have to have.
No, you wouldn't. This is the point.
You would. No, you'd have to have a room connected to the
The
house.
point is, they are your flatmates. You live in the same building. You share the front door. This is my fucking point all along. Flatmates, they're not your neighbours.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? They all can't fit into the one room.
Exactly.
So
You've got to live in a giant room. You've got to live in a giant room with 30 million people. You're wrong. You finally fucking admitted it indirectly. You've got the premise wrong. You're flatmates. You're not neighbours. You live in the same room. You live in the same building. You share the same front door. You have to take 30 million people's mail every morning.
Looks like I win.
You've just admitted you don't even understand the concept of the question.
Your flatmates, you share a flat, not a road. You're not neighbours. You live in the same building with the same front door. There's one way in and one way out. Unless you've got a garden.
How would you have a living room big enough to house the Zeppelin, which can include all those people? You'd have to have a hangar which
It's
can
a theoretical.
that.
It's a theoretical. Okay.
Yes.
What I'm thinking. What
You'd have to house it.
Yeah. The blimp. Your room could be inside the hangar. So you've got the front door. It goes in. You turn right in the hangar. There's your little room there. You turn left, there's the blimp with 30 million people. You have to share the same front door, otherwise you're not in the same building.
Hang on,
the same
you
flat.
can have. You can
Not in
have
the same
different
flat. Your flatmates.
entrances.
Your flatmates. You share the same front door because you're in the same house.
You can have different entrances and exits.
Oh, God.
So what, you're gonna have 30 million doors hanging on the edge of the hangar?
Yeah, that would
why
be
would they
then
do
like
that?
one huge colony, so they're all just living independently then. So it's just like living in a town.
No, you're wrong.
Who brought this up? Why do you have to bring it up again?
You wake up in the morning, you open the door, there's the postman. I've got a delivery for 30 million people.
Yeah, so they'd have to have some kind of loading area, which obviously wouldn't be the front door.
But why would you want to live with that? Why would you just not want to live with one depressed centaur you'll never see?
Because the depressed
How is that
centaur
more
be moping
annoying?
about inside the house. Okay, so he's already inside of your kind of personal space in the room. Okay.
Not really. They'll be in their own room. They won't come out of their room because they're
No,
depressed.
they'd have to come out and do what, and then you'd hear crying all the time, and he'd be
As opposed
bashing into things.
As opposed to
because
the
he's
sound of 30 million people next door. Oh, that's so much
Hey.
less annoying.
But they're inside a blimp.
If I lived with you,
You'll
I'd
still
also
hear
be
them.
crying.
You'll still hear them.
But
Nothing's
it's
soundproof enough to block out the sound of 30 million people talking. And everyone's going to have to talk over themselves because everyone's shouting. 30
Not
million
really.
shouting people.
Because the
And how
blimp
you-
is big to house all those people. It would
Huh?
be spaced apart normally.
And how are you guys gonna do the eating? Exactly, Di.
You got to cook for 30 million. Oh, it's my turn to cook. I'm cooking for 30 million people today. I'll do dinner
No,
tonight.
that's
Order
that's
30
illogical.
million
You
pieces.
wouldn't- You wouldn't do that. And besides, I would go into the loading area, which is like a mile away from the house anyway. So
The loading
That's
area for
totally fine.
30 million people.
yeah, it's down the road, like 2 miles away.
It's got to be 2 miles long.
Yeah,
If you get 2 miles away.
yeah, it's like a hangar which holds all the people inside of it with the blimp. You see, they're inside the blimp. You see.
Can't you just admit you're wrong? We all
I'm
know
not,
you're
though.
wrong. Just admit
I'm
it.
not though.
You
I'm not,
are wrong.
though. Just because I'm on a different wavelength.
You're on a
You're
different fucking
so
planet.
massively wrong.
You're on a different fucking planet.
But yeah. Okay.
Engage your fucking brain. You're flatmates with 30 million people.
He has to have one first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not convinced he has one.
You're
Not
sharing a
just
flat with 30 million people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're in a blimp
What difference does that make?
because the blimp is soundproof and inside a hangar.
No,
which
it's
is
not.
adjacent from
A
the
blimp
house.
isn't a soundproof. Blimp not soundproof.
If you were talking inside of a blimp, do you reckon you could hear you outside the blimp?
If I was standing outside a blimp and 30 million people were talking inside a blimp, I think I'd hear something.
But it's like a really huge kind of like blimp, which is all spaced apart.
But the sound will still travel. They'd have to be miles apart for not to be able to hear them.
It could be that big, yeah.
So a building the size of Canada.
Yeah.
But you share a
That's
flat.
just like that's just like living. Well, that flat is just connected to the building that houses the air blimp. I keep forgetting what the fucking name is. The thing is blimp. So it's just adjacent to that because it wouldn't be inside the flat because then you'd have a flat the size of something that can house such a massive instrument, which would you'd be basically living inside of a hangar then at that
boxes.
point, which isn't really a flat.
No.
So yeah,
As opposed to just living
Centaur's
with
more
someone you'll
annoying.
never see. That's not more annoying.
I am.
Think of the parking situation.
Yeah, they'd have like a kind of a dual carriageway that kind of goes inside the blimp.
Oh yeah, I love living
And
next to
then
a dual
outside.
carriageway.